What is going on, everybody? PintSizeAnalyze, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the three Mariners prospects most likely to make a real impact at the Major League level in 2024. Let's get started. All right, so the first prospect I have on this list is Ryan Bliss. Ryan Bliss is actually the only prospect on this list to play in AAA. He began the 2023 season in Arizona as an Arizona Diamondback. He was drafted he was drafted in the 2021 class in the second round out of Auburn. He began 2021 in the ACL and then was promoted to A ball. And then he played all of 2022 at A ball. At A plus and really struggled, hitting 214, 298, 343 for an 82 WRC plus. And then he was actually promoted despite that and began 2023 at AA Amarillo, Texas. And it's one of the most hitter-friendly ballparks in all of the minors. But he absolutely raked, hitting 358, 414, 594, and for a 162 WRC plus. And then he was rewarded for that excellent first half by being sent to the Futures game, which I actually attended, and I remember him having like some of the most impressive raw power there, but in the pregame BP. But I'll get to that. I'll get more to that in a second. But he was sent to the Futures game, and then right after that, he was promoted to AAA Reno. Another really hitter-friendly park, which is an important note. Bliss, in a small sample size of just 62 plate appearances there, hit 196, 274, 357 for a 48 WRC plus. And then he was traded to the Mariners at the trade deadline for Paul Seold along with Dominic Canzone and Josh Rojas. And his first month as a Tacoma Rainier was rough, hitting 193, 270, 321 for a 44 WRC plus in 123 plate appearances. And then he again kind of flipped the script on his season and ended up hitting 329, 456, 659 for a 165 WRC plus in the final 103 plate appearances of his 2023. And then he also posted an excellent 19.4 walk percentage and 17.5 K percentage. So that's enough stat line scouting for this player. But he really was kind of up and down statistically throughout the year, and he looked like he had it locked in, and then like he would start to struggle. And it makes sense that he initially struggled when he was promoted, but it's kind of crazy, like just how much of a better hitter he looked in his second full month as a Rainier, and I believe his third full month, or roughly second full month in AAA. I had heard from some publications, though, that he only really got to his in-game power on breaking pitches, which is not great, and kind of explained why he was just, crushing baseballs at the Futures game BP. Obviously, he has a lot of raw power, but he's not going to get into that in games. But he hit 6 home runs throughout the final month of the season, and actually 5 of those home runs were against fastballs, and 4 of them were against 90 plus. I believe only 2 of them were 94 plus. But still, that's, I feel like, more indictment of the pitching quality in the PCL. And, I think he genuinely was getting to some more power there. A major concern, though, for Bliss is his general frame and size, as he's only about 5'7" and 165 pounds. There's not really a blueprint for smaller players like him to hit for legitimate power. Jose Altuve is a common comparison, but that just, it feels unfair to expect Bliss to live up to anything like what Altuve has done, because he is a future Hall of Famer. But if you're looking for like a smaller, compact righty who can actually pull the ball in the air and hit for some power, that's kind of Bliss and Jose Altuve. I was also curious about what his batted ball data looked like, and AAA, with the introduction of some StatCast for all of the parks last year, I was able to find out that he had a 108.5 max exit velocity as a Reno Ace, and then a 104.7 max exit velocity as a Tacoma Rainier. So even if that exit velocity reading in Reno was off by an entire mile per hour, that's still I would say roughly a whole grade of raw power. And he would not just lose that, whole grade of raw power in a month-long span. So I have the hypothesis that when he came over to the Mariners and like in September, he probably tried to make his swing kind of shorter, and so the bat travels less distance to get to the hitting zone. He sacrifices an amount of bat speed to get to higher velo pitches quicker. But so he's sacrificing an amount of bat speed, which is why the exit velo was lower, but it's also so he's more on time to fastballs. I really hope that swing adjustment, though, will allow for some kind of even doubles power. He doesn't have to hit home runs against fastballs, but if he's able to hit doubles, it helps his skill set a lot overall. There are already multiple MLB-ready tools in his profile, but yeah, any marginal improvement as a hitter is important, and for him to start being able to hit for some extra base hit power against non-breaking pitches is an important development. And then also, I wrote this yesterday, and then literally like a few hours later, he hit a bomb in the spring training game, which he's been fantastic all spring. And then he was actually reassigned earlier, but he hit a bomb last night in the game that had an exit velocity of 106. So I don't think that 108 reading was wrong. Might have been like a mile per hour off, but and that was according to Ryan Divish. She tweeted about it. Unfortunately, we are not able to get all of the spring training exit velocities and batted ball data, but they have Hawkeye cameras that the credentialed press can access. All right, and the second player I have on this list is going to be first base / DH Tyler Locklear. Locklear was drafted in the second round by the Mariners in 2022 out of VCU. He was one of the most polished bats in the class. He is a right-handed hitting right first base DH only, which does make his margin for error lower as an MLB player. But he hit at VCU and has continued to hit as a professional. He's only had 94 plate appearances against upper minors pitching, and that was 94 plate appearances last year at AA Arkansas. But he posted an exciting 11.7 walk percentage and minuscule 14.9 K percentage. So the plate discipline, I think, could give him a high floor if he were to debut this year, or not necessarily a high floor, but like some kind of offensive floor. The power is still probably going to be a learning curve against upper minors and MLB pitching for him, but he's also posted plus exit velocities like at every stage of the minors and had them in college. I believe he's reached like 111, 112, and it's consistently posted like 90th percentile exit velocities of like 105. So I'm not concerned that the power won't translate. It just will probably take some more time. All right, the third and final player I have on this list is going to be the Mariners' arguably number one overall prospect on consensus top 3, Cole Young, drafted by the Mariners, number 22nd overall in 2022. Young was a more advanced higher floor prep hitter out of Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Young had his first full professional season last year and split it between low A or A-ball Modesto and high A Everett. The numbers did not disappoint. He showcased plus plate discipline, plus bat to ball skills, and average game power. It's a relatively complete offensive profile. He still doesn't have a long-term surefire. He's still not a surefire long-term shortstop, but is more likely a second baseman. Could switch to third. I'm not sure if the arm is good enough though. I think that's the main question about third, but I think he definitely has the range to play third base. He has looked excellent in spring training, and actually, like Bliss, has since hit a home run. He hit a game-tying home run to tie the game. The game ended in a tie because it's spring training earlier today. He does not have a particular standout tool. The hit tool, I'd say probably is still the standout, but it's not like significantly better than any others. But he's like I said, he showcased the plus plate discipline. He is likely to begin the year in AA Arkansas and has a real shot to make his debut this year if he looks comfortable enough and produces against upper minors arms. The main thing though is I think for him, if he's able to consistently do damage off of secondary pitches, especially early in the season, I think that will be more likely to lead to an earlier promotion. Like if he's just hammering delivering breaking balls and like able to recognize them in Arkansas, he should be up to Seattle sooner rather than later. I would not be surprised if he's a Mariner by July, if that's the case. I still don't know for certain. Young is a little bit interesting because he was almost certainly going to debut this year, but with the acquisition of Jorge Polanco over a month ago, that looks less likely, but I still think that he could play his way onto that MLB roster. It might not be a question of who around him and how well the veterans are doing around him. It might be a matter of him being so good that they need to call him up. And hopefully that's the case. But that's going to be it for today's video. These are the 3 Mariners prospects who are most likely to make a real impact at the Major League level this year in 2024. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Peace.